She's produced Presidents and programmed Power Plays. It's Event About It with Morgan Prewitt. Hey everybody, welcome to Event About It. I'm your host, Megan Martin, and our guest this week is best known for orchestrating some of the biggest stages in the world, from McCormick Place to AWS to the Democratic National Convention. She keeps the chaos contained, the moments elevated, and enough NDAs on file to rival a Kardashian assistant. Welcome to the studio, Morgan.
Thank you. Thank you, Megan. Hey, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. For those that don't know, Morgan and I were in the same PCMA 20 and 20 class, and you are the first person from the class to come on the podcast. So I'm
Yeah,
so
that
glad to
was like
have
what,
you here.
yesterday? Was that yesterday we were in the class? I think it was maybe,
It
I don't know, 2 weeks ago.
it feels like 2 weeks ago, but I hate to admit it, I think it's been like 10 years or more.
Or
It's
more?
been a minute. It's been a minute.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
We've been there. First of all, having 20 and 20 class person here, so glad to have you. I think at some point I want to do like a whole reunion episode and like, where is everyone now? I think that would be really fun. But one of my fun facts about you that I don't think a lot of people know is you're a trained pianist and like have a piano degree from Howard. Tell us a little bit about how you even got into playing the piano and like why you're so passionate about it.
It's my favorite thing that people just don't know about me because usually I have like long nails. But I am a classically trained pianist. I've been playing for 23 years and I'm actually going to start back lessons with a dream in the next, hopefully 1 to 2 years of opening a studio in my home to teach young girls how to play. It's my minor at Howard, by the way. But I learned as I think I started at 3 or 4 years old. My grandmother was an organ pianist or an organist for the church, and that's kind of what brought me in the church. And then I learned how to play, and I started playing there, and then I started taking lessons, and I started competing, and it was kind of like my joy. So then when I went to Howard, it was a no-brainer that I wanted to major in business marketing, but I also wanted to keep my piano studies alive. So I got my minor at Howard, and that kind of was, I don't know, it really shaped me to be around people that loved music just as much as I did. And to this day, I keep finding musicians in my life, and I love to do like different riffs. One of my friends comes over. I have three pianos in my house, in my home, and we do different. We'll go back and forth, and it's just a really good time. So it's my joy. It is my thing, my peace when I am in event mode. When I come home and I just need to play, and I truly get lost for hours. So it's great.
It's definitely on my bucket list to learn how to play piano. Like, I think that's going to be maybe not 26, but 27 when things slow down a little because I've got a crazy year next year. And I definitely want to start taking lessons. And I love music and I need to play more. Like, I need to immerse myself in music more, not just listen. I want to participate.
It is great to just hear a song and know that you can go home and just figure it out. And it really just, like I said, it's peaceful. It's out of a crazy day just to come home and just lose yourself in something.
What's your like go-to genre or song? Like when you've had the crazy day, you come home and what are you gonna play?
I always say Baby Bach, so not the Bach that everyone knows, but Baby Bach is one of my favorite composers, or Tchaikovsky, just because of his complexity. But I often play Stevie Wonder, "Ribbon in the Sky."
Great song.
It's my piece. And
Oh,
then when I was younger, I used to play "His Eyes on the Sparrow" in church with my grandmother, and that's also something when I'm like having a really rough day, I kind of go back to.
oh, both classics. I love that. Love that. Okay, well, let's dive into our first game. It's time for Keynote or Keynote. The game where we take real life event world moments and you decide whether they deserve the spotlight or need to quietly escort out of the venue. Okay, I'm gonna throw out some scenarios and you tell us if it's a keynote, yes, put it on the main stage, or key, nope, absolutely not, shut it down.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, first one. Speakers who think the teleprompter is optional because they're better off the cuff.
I think we've all seen someone, so that has done that, and I don't want to refer to the one time that's in my head, but it is definitely a keynote.
Key, nope. This one, you and I have both worked in the government space, so this has happened to me on more than one occasion. But security who adds three new checkpoints during load-in.
Despite popular belief, that actually is going to be a keynote. I've been in different situations where it's been more than three, it's been 30, it's been honestly probably more than 32. But yeah, it's a keynote just to make sure that we keep our main talent safe, to keep everyone safe. That's always the objective, right? When we do these events. So keynote.
And we've seen more and more stage situations happening. So I agree with you. And sometimes when you're dealing with Secret Service, like they run the show, you don't really have an option there. So you kind of
They
have to do whatever they tell you.
That was part of the DNC host committee doing their events. Was I cannot tell you how incredibly interesting it was to be in a room. Thank you for all that you've presented, but this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah,
Okay, well, let's all gather. Let's figure it out.
exactly. A caucus leader or an executive who wants to approve the lighting.
I always listen to people because maybe they know something that I don't, but I always give my suggestion as an expert in the room. So it's going to be a keynote, but I do hear them out.
Okay, I like that. A stakeholder who wants one tiny change that ends up turning into a 17-step domino effect.
Our stakeholders matter, especially if they're sponsors or donors. So unfortunately, I have made it a keynote, but in my head, I want to say it's a keynote, but I'm kind of in between. I'm torn there.
Depends on maybe the ask,
Yeah, that's definitely it.
maybe. All right, someone who wants to add a panelist as doors open.
Absolutely not. Nope. It has, unless it's someone that is, again, a sponsor, donor, a senior leader, the president, honestly, or the CEO of the company. There's furniture, there's lighting positions, there's camera angles or camera lenses that we've done all the things.
Yeah.
There's the digital print, there's the actual print that we put out. So it's really a keynote, honestly.
Yeah, unless it's like the president or CEO. I hear you. A client who hates all the ideas you present but has none of their own.
Haven't we all been there? I prefer it's a keynote. If you're going to come with a million or a lot of different problems or challenges, at least be able to come back with one or two solutions that we can work through together. So keynote.
A VIP handler who acts like they're running the Secret Service.
Because usually they're doing that because the VIP themselves is a high maintenance client. So I am going to actually say keynote only because if they are going to deal with it, that is something that is off my plate. So I will say keynote.
Okay, not the answer I was expecting.
I know.
A team member who gives notes based on, quote, what their friend saw at another conference.
I am actually going to say keynote to that only because I can't go to all conferences. We all can't go to all conferences, right? But just being able to see what other people have seen, not saying that I will do it, not saying that it will work, but maybe we can incorporate something that would be new. And I'm always here for let's find the new innovative ways. Let's always stretch ourselves. Let's continue to scale. So that's going to be a keynote.
Yeah, I like that because also someone said this recently at a conference I was at that to produce good content means you have to be a consumer of content.
Yes.
And I think event design's kind of the same and hearing ideas because you can't be at every show and see what every person does. So like there might be a nugget of inspiration in there.
And you get inspiration anywhere, honestly. As an event person, I'm always looking around, trying to find something new to do for my clients, my events. So it's incredibly important. So I will always take suggestions. I don't know if I can use them, or I may be able to change it into something that I could use. So always, I'll go with the keynote.
Well, that was keynote or keynote, and what we learned, what deserves the mic, and what maybe needs to be escorted out of by security. Beautifully done. Well, now it's time for my favorite part of the show, the vent of the week. Because sometimes the only thing tighter than a load-in schedule is our patience. This is your safe space to let it all out, all the pet peeves, the planning pains, and things that make this industry just a little too eventful. So tell us, Morgan, what is irking you about the events world?
I love the new push that we are all giving and really putting wholeheartedly effort into sustainability. However, it's the faux sustainability that often shakes me a little bit when you go to venues and they look like, oh, I'm doing recycling and and trash composting. And then you actually ask to dig into it a bit more, which they don't often expect from event producers or event planners or directors of events coming in. But you ask to, I want to see the compost. I want to see the back of house and where this is happening. And it's not. It's all going into trash. And I think that's the new hot thing, sustainability and AI. And then with AI is the conversation of how do we use it? How is it taking over? Is it taking over our jobs? I'm pulled different ways, especially coming from the tech space, pulled different ways where I've seen AI show up in great ways. But I also see the scary side that people have of what it can turn into for a society. So I think those are the two hot things that are on everyone's chart right now when they're looking at events. Like, how do I make this event more sustainable without sacrificing the attendee journey?
Sure.
Or AI, and how do I incorporate that into anything, no matter what it is, which it truly could be incorporated into, but just also doing it right and doing it justice. So I think those are the two things that kind of stand out to me right now.
Yeah, I am going to a conference in a few weeks and I was looking at the agenda and more than 50% of the sessions have AI included in them. And like at some point I think we're reaching the precipice of like AI fatigue. I'm tired of talking about it, honestly. Like we get it. We get it.
And I think it's been around for at least millennials and like for like the millennials and is it Gen Z? Yeah. For so long, it's always been a part of Gen Z's like their lifestyle. And I think now it's becoming so prevalent in people's faces. And I just put my mother and father, I hipped them to Chat GPT. So it's like everyone is like, oh, I never knew this thing existed. Well, it's been around for some time now. But it's like the cool thing, the hot thing to talk about where it's like, you're right, we are tired. And it's not just AI. AI has so many different facets in it, but we're just talking about the overall, what artificial intelligence is. And we know what it is. We know we know it's working well for us. We also know it's taking away some jobs. So it's like, let's move on.
Agreed. Well, this is the soapbox I will stand on with AI. It's the best thing to happen to the events world because the internet is messy. It's hard to tell what's real or not real with all the AI coming out. And the only way to know if something is real, see it with your own eyes. And that happens at events. So bring on more AI because it's making my job more secure because more people are doing events and trying to come together because the internet's just getting messier.
That's the thing. We will never, I don't want to say we never not will have jobs, but we will, because our space is for people and for engagement in person, that is like the safety that we have to sit in, is that we truly, our work is bringing people together. So to your point. Yeah.
Agreed. Well, thanks for venting this week with me because I can feel both of them for sure. And next up, it's time to event about it. The part of the show where you get to spill the tea on a memorable event moment, whether it was a huge success or total disaster or just complete chaos, we want to hear about it. You've done some of the most high profile shows. We've done some shows and been at shows together. So I know you have some stories. So let's hear it.
When I think about, honestly, the most crazy event I've done, it's one that I don't often talk about, but I brought up earlier this week and I got goosebumps just thinking about what it took and how fast it happened. I was working with a corporate client, and I'm not going to mention their name, but I was working with a corporate client, and the days were incredibly long in, just doing all of the things that event producers do. So room sets, figuring out, working through different specs, working what works with one speaker, what doesn't, going through different AV needs, all the things, which wasn't the problem. The challenge was that it was these 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. days for 5, 6, 7 days straight. And then the closing show happened, or the closing reception happened, or it was the day of the closing reception, I should say. And it was at an offsite venue, and it's something that I was not responsible for. Very excited, washing my hands with it. Okay, on to the next. We made it through, everyone. Because of there was like torrential downpours and rain and flooding warnings and wind, all of these things, because of the venue was right on the water and right on Lake Michigan, it was unable to be utilized for the closing reception, which means It was back in my lap.
Oh Lord.
So I met with a client. I will never forget the time. It was 1:06 in the afternoon, and they had doors open at 6 p.m. But we
Okay,
met
so
at
you get 5 hours,
five
right?
hours.
Five
Barely,
hours.
barely 5 hours. Because like really at 4 hours, you should really truly be at a point where you're set and ready to go because now you have to do rehearsals. So
Correct.
106, sat with the client, and it was, I remember goosebumps, and I'm getting like nervous talking about it now, but my heart was beating fast. It was absolutely insane because like we had now start setting up for the next show, the show that was coming in after this particular show. So we have to now backtrack, figure out how we're going to set up. They had a large name artist come that was going to be performing for the, for the closing reception. So now we're working through writers. We're working through how we can build this production in a similar fashion to what they've been working on for 48 hours at this other place. We're going to do it in 5. Building out the stage, building out what the front of house looks like, building out and setting expectations for the back of house for the artists,
Yeah.
trying to find food and beverage in 5 hours
I
for
was gonna
almost.
say chef was probably gone. Like everyone, you're having to like call everyone back to work.
Yes, yes, that's exactly what happened.
Oh Lord.
So it was one of those things, Megan, where we talk about, am I made for this? Is this what I enjoy? Is this what I am set to do? Is this my calling? I am getting goosebumps today, just like I did then, because it truly was that was the moment in my career where I realized this is what I love. This is what makes me happy. This is what excites me. This is who I am. At 106 after we met, I came up with a plan. I took a deep breath, went to the restroom, got myself together, and I pulled up 2 6-foot tables, made a little conference style table in the middle of the room, pulled the stakeholders or the people that we had to have together to make it work, and I started firing off what we had to do and in the timeline we had to do it in. And we opened doors a little bit later than 6 o'clock, but but out of what we had
Sure.
to make happen, we did. We ordered pizza and whatever was quick to get. We opened some bars. We were able to do the production to an extent of what they had at the other venue, what we could put up in 5 hours. We set up our bleachers, our chairs, our front of house risers, and we built the space. And it was a great event. I still to this day I can't believe it happened. I don't think I've ever had anything in the course of my career happen like that. As many people probably don't experience something where we're going to change this all around in not a day, in 5 hours. So it was interesting. But it truly goes back to why do we do it? And we do it for our attendees. We do it to make connections. We do to have experiences like that. The concert went off great. Attendees didn't see anything. To them, it was just a rerouting of the buses. Instead of going here, you're now going back here. It really just, for me, it set in of I'm good at this, and I love this, and I'm passionate about this, and this is what I want to do. So that's my
I
event.
love that. So 2 questions. First of all, bravo for pulling this off in 5 hours. Having been a former CSM myself, I mean, I'm sweating thinking about having to do that, especially when there's entertainment involved. And you mentioned the writers, but a lot of artists have very specific audiovisual requirements that come with that. So they've been setting up at this other venue for 2 days, basically. What were you repurposing AV? Did you have to start from scratch? Like, what did the production value look like because you had a big name artist at this presentation?
We did what we could. That's really just we did what we could. But we pulled the next show that was coming in, and I'm trying to remember exactly. I believe they had the same AV company, so it was not an easy switch over or easy changeover, but it was what we were able to pull from this venue and just bring over. We did what the current AV company, I think it was the same AV company. What that AV company was setting up, we just made it work for this artist. The client talked to the artist, or their team handled, internal communications, letting them know this is what's changing and this is what we can do and this is what to expect when you come on stage. We did our rehearsals. It worked. So that is.
And was the artist agreeable, or did they full diva moment?
I was not in those conversations, and
Okay.
And I was too busy building the thing, building it up. I would assume.
Probably the safer side of not having to deal with that
And I
conversation.
think honestly, just knowing who the artist was and meeting them right before they performed, it seemed like everything was okay. Like
Yeah.
they knew what the position was that we had from 1 to 5 and what it took. So I want to say that the person who had the conversation with them really took the time to explain this is what's going on, this is what we can and can't do in this time. So I always say transparency is key. You do what you can to communicate to the client, you do what you can to communicate to your talent, and that's truly all you can do. You do the best you have and you communicate those things out. And if they have pushback, we did all we could.
Yeah. And I think the beautiful piece that you put in is like the attendees don't know. And that's the blessing and curse of this job is attendees have no idea the sweat that went in for 5 hours, right? And we're miracle workers behind the scenes. So then it's hard to talk about what actually had to go through yourself, your teams, everyone, the headaches. And the attendees know no different, which is always the end result. You'd never want them to know, but
No,
also you kind of want them to know, like the chaos behind the scenes to make this, closing event happen.
that is incredibly true. Where you see the attendees running in, they're super excited, they're grabbing their pizza, and I'm like, you actually had a full setup of whatever at the other place, but here you're excited about this cheese and pepperoni pizza and these top small tacos. Okay. Yes, be excited. You're
Yes.
excited for this open bar? Yes, we just brought these people in 45 minutes ago and set them up. Yes, be excited.
Exactly. Well, that's an incredible like success story, a chaos to success. So thank you for sharing. And also, I love that that was the moment you were like, I'm good at this. I love that because I think we've all kind of had those moments in our careers of like, no, I'm actually going to do this for a living.
Do you remember yours? What your moment was?
I've had a couple in my life. Some of them, ironically enough, were also from my CSM days, very, very early in my career of pulling off some small miracles and not breaking a sweat doing it and loving the punishment that comes with it, for lack of better words, and realizing, no, I actually do really love this industry and producing and I don't know, having that hero moment. And I think all of us as event designers and producers love that light bulb moment where all the hard work and there were points in my career where I was working on 18-month planning cycles. I was deep in the next year before this year even took off. And sitting in a room with the right people, having that light bulb moment and being like, I created the environment for this. And that light bulb moment is partially because of my brain power.
Yes.
Those are really special moments.
Yeah. That is, you're right. I created this light bulb moment, and it's truly because of how I'm able to think,
Yeah.
or how I'm able to act fast and work under an extreme amount of pressure coming from all sides.
Well, what's next for Morgan? You've been all over the place, took a little bit of a sabbatical, much deserved after last year. So, where can we find you and what's next for Morgan?
It's funny you asked. That was one of the questions that everyone was asking me after I say served, but after I served on the DNC host committee. That was the question because it was such a public facing role. A lot of asked like, what is going on with you? And I'm like, I'm actually taking the year to farm. So this year, for those who don't know, I have been farming. It has been incredibly exciting. I'm used to like having like glamour, like hair, nails, makeup. And this year I'm just like, I just want to dig in deep and learn how to grow my own food, plant, harvest my own food, and just kind of figure that process out. And then I've had a couple other things where I wanted to travel. So I've been traveling a lot, too much. And I also wanted to open my own event company. So I did that. I opened my event agency, Impact Events. And that has been amazing. It was one of those things where everyone has told me to do it. And I'm like, no, everyone has an event company. I don't want to it's a saturated market, all the things. But I took the leap of faith because I love what I do. I'm great at what I do. And I just wanted to see, it's been an amazing year. I just didn't know. I now see why people have event companies. But I have now sat back and decided, okay, Morgan, this was 2025. You've done the things. You've learned how to farm. You've learned how to harvest. My kitchen, I've learned how to cook so many things this year just from things that I've picked in on the farm. learned how to raise chickens, learned how to feed and whatever, care for goats, things that I've just never thought I would be doing. So next year, what 2026 and beyond looks like, I am still going to maintain my same event agency because it has been profitable. I really enjoy doing and having that autonomy to make the decisions that I want to make and doing it on my time. However, I do like the structure of going back to what a 9 to 5 is. I do like bouncing things off of different team members and working next to some of the best and brightest in our industry. And while I can still do that with being on my own, I just really miss, I guess, the overall structure of just being a part of something. But I am now looking at what another role would look like going back into whether corporate America or maybe going back into associations, and just seeing how I can use my talents now coming from the political space, coming from the tech space, coming from the venue management, association space, putting all of those together to really uplift and build strategy for an organization.
Oh, I absolutely love that. Well, where can people find Morgan and Impact Events? Where can we follow your journey?
Sure, you can find me on LinkedIn under my LinkedIn, Morgan Prewitt, CMP. Yeah, my LinkedIn.
All right, we'll be sure to link it out there. And that's all for today. Thanks for joining another episode of Event About It, where we turn event mishaps into marketing gold. If you enjoyed the chaos, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this with someone who needs a laugh. Don't forget to head over to eventaboutitpodcast.com. Send us your events and stories to be featured on a future episode. While you're there, be sure to catch the Event About It after show for dynamic dialogue with Morgan, where we talk about all the things we wish the industry would evolve into, making the jump from association to corporate planning, and where we want to be in the future, looking back on our years as 20 and 20 members. Until next time, keep growing, keep laughing, and keep eventing about it.